My guest today is writer-director Benny Chen. His work often explores the complexities of human nature and the moral gray areas of society. Drawing from his bicultural background, he seeks to find beauty and balance between Eastern and Western cinema. Now, his first film in film school earned recognition at Oscar qualifying festivals, including the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, the International Film Music Festival of Tenerife, and the Hollywood Music in Media Awards. Now, his newest short film, The Very Powerful Hand, is trapped between duty and despair. An undocumented Chinese cook begins to question the cost of survival in a country that sees him as invisible as anti-Asian aggression rises outside his kitchen walls. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome writer-director Benny Chen and his newest short film, Hand, to the show. Welcome, Benny.
Hi everyone. Hi Bon. It's my honor for being here. Thank you for having me.
It is great to have you. I was very, very emotionally moved by your film. So, where did the anti Asian hate originate in America, and was it due to the pandemic?
Yeah, pretty much. I saw the news going on, all around the nation when the pandemic happened all around the world, not just the U.S. but everywhere in the world. And I was living in a small town. I was living in Santa Barbara in California at the time, so population of diversity is pretty low. So nothing super crazy happened to me, but I hear and heard my friend's story. I guess because I'm little big guy, so nothing ever happened to me. I was an athlete growing up, but I heard some stories with my friends, and I can sense the change of tension in air a little bit. But yeah, most of my, I guess, ideas and thoughts and just came from there.
Well,
And then after that,
no,
sorry.
go ahead, Benny.
No, after that, I just did some. I was happened to met some individual, like undocumented immigrants that have similar situation, and I just do field research interview them for a while.
Yeah, it was hard for me to fathom, still is kind of hard for me to fathom that people still today blame certain minority groups for their hardships, which you show a scene in this film. But, I think back because back in the mid 1970s, I remember when Vietnamese immigrants came to America. My grandfather helped many of them settle into their homes and helped them to find jobs. Are we lacking empathy today for those who don't look or believe like us?
Um, Sadly, from my observation, I feel like the gap between peoples and differences in this world has become larger in the last couple of years. You can see it from the news every day. People are in the world, people are fighting, and then people are disagreeing with each other with very aggressive emotions. So sadly, I hope not true, but from my observation, I can feel a little bit different from maybe 10 years ago.
Now, why did you settle on a character that is an undocumented Chinese immigrant and place him in a restaurant? Why did you choose that setting?
Because just interesting to me when I find out this kind of group exists, because Asian immigrants often seen as modern immigrant. We go to school, we are quiet, we don't really fight back, and everything it's perfect, A plus. And then when I find out people like them exist, and they are like especially chef, food, culture, they are part of American, especially Chinese restaurant. They are part of American culture. They are the one part to keep the society going, but at the same time they are ignore. They're like never there when they talk about when they are blaming COVID, this and that. These are the people that they're blaming. So it is very ironic for me, and I just want to dive more into this topic.
Well, the character Lin, now he is dealing with financial hardship, but are undocumented workers shocked about the high cost of living in America?
Most of them that I'm speaking with, just that their life just become very, I guess, narrow. Just work, and then their apartment or whatever, the dorm they have, they just do it every day. Two spot, work home, work home, work home. They have no life, and they send money back home, and often encounter some, especially single men or men who came alone, tend to have drinking or gambling problem, because they have nothing to do, and then sometimes they want to learn the language, but they're just too tired, and then just work. So yeah, I think they are very, like, when I talk to them, this is very common. They usually just you know work and go home. They don't have much life at all.
Well, does that cause many to rethink their decision to come here, or maybe the level of possible racism that they could endure would want them or would make them leave?
Do you know what's funny is that when I talk to them, they tend to be the older generation, and they came from a very conservative education background. And as in Asian culture, they were often taught that, I guess, pain is just part of growth. You just gotta suck it in, and then often for their mindset is that just go through this time, and then 10 years, 15 years, and then you can retire home, and then I guess they just suck it in, and then just get used to with this loneliness and isolation. But at the same time, it's human nature to seek connection. So I guess they always have a very difficult internal conflict.
Well, you know what, like with Lynn, you kind of described it perfectly. Go to work, go home, go to work, go home. But in the midst of that, he's trying to pay, I guess, is it his ex-wife's or the child's college education?
I mean, they're not technically separated, but they are separated. But it is still, yeah, he's paying his son's education. He's paying for his oldest son, his eldest son. He's also paying for his brother's family's, like, health. His brother is sick, and he had to pay for the surgery and hospital bills and that. And when I talk to my mom and uncle, my mom's the eldest, and my uncle, the oldest, tend to have more responsibility with the home.
Well, like with Lynn, he had the conversation with the woman that also, I guess she's the manager of the restaurant. And um, and he said that he had been working there for what, 15, 20 years. Um, I've never, I'm going to let you shed some light on this. Some of the undocumented immigrants, why is it they don't become naturalized citizens of the U.S.? Because I think what, after 10 years you can study and take the test.
Well, first of all, they came here, I guess, illegally, or they overstay, and then they put their status in the trouble situation already. And at the same time, they don't necessarily usually have. They could be highly skillful, but not with language. They have a specific skill, but often they don't really have time to study the language. And the rules often change. Especially you see in the news today. You're going for the test, and then the ICE came for you, and then this put them in fear, I guess. And most of the time, they just want to save the trouble.
Yeah, I understand it, like overstaying your visa, so to speak. So
Yeah.
yeah, I get that. I've seen short films that cover that type of subject, and I can understand why it would be scary for any undocumented worker. They've been here, they've already assimilated into America, and I think sometimes the law ought to change after so many years. But there's a scene in your film, and I think you may have just answered it, but why did Lynn lie to the couple that were walking by about not knowing English? Was it because he was still learning the language?
I guess for me, it was a reflection of his fear. Like, he want to be part of American society, but at the same time, he doesn't feel like he fit. And and then he just saw the news, Asian tag, this and that. There's a lot of, like, capacity in his heart, fear, and why I get rejected, why I get make fun of when I speak, this and that. Yeah.
Okay, well, I know Lin, which is the main character played by Zhan Wang, and I have to say, his acting in your film is a lesson on how an actor expresses stress and tension without ever saying a word. I truly felt his performance.
Oh yeah, yeah. Zen is a very, very great actor. Is my I was lucky that he want to work with me. And the first, when I first met him and I saw him, I sent him the script. He was like, "Oh, this is not good enough. He said, I gotta change it." I was like, "Okay, I got to work hard." I mean, it's good that he gotta push me to work harder. But I hope I reach his expectation in some way eventually. But he's a very talented actor, very experienced, with all the very well-known Asian American actors in the U.S. He just did a feature with Chen a while ago. If you know the guy who did Bright Summer Day, the very famous Taiwanese actress. Yeah, he
Wow.
did a
Now, well,
lot with him.
tell me about the scene in which Lynn gets attacked. Um, what was it like directing that scene?
Oh, it was it was actually, I guess I was concerned, and there's violence, there's racial slur, we do in public. I mean, we got a permit and everything, but there's still people walking past, and we have to do a real rehearsal before in a stunt rehearsal and then get the union approved and everything. But we're just trying to make sure we didn't do anything unnecessary, but at the same time, it's very powerful and short and nobody get hurt. And yeah, we're just trying to this is a racial attack is a very difficult topic to even talk about and to film. It's I have to talk to the cast, make sure they're comfortable, especially the guy who playing Randy and the attacker. And this and that. It's just a long process of communication and make sure that in the end it's not a flat scenes, if it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. You also showed in that scene the problem with society, not just the attack itself, but all the bystanders standing around. No one does anything. The first thing people think they're doing is pulling out their phone to videotape it for Instagram or TikTok. And I'm like, what is wrong with people? You should jump in, or at least somebody stronger than the attacker, and stop it, or citizens arrest the guy or something. But you kind of showed the downfall of today's society in that scene, maybe not even knowing it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in this time of world right now, I feel like a lot of people's already having a hard time taking care of themselves. But I just hope people, if someone just take the first step, that the misunderstanding that we have can be erased easily.
Very, very much so. Now, there's a scene in this film that is so powerful. And it's where Anna reached over and put her hand on Lynn's knee as they were sitting outside. They were peeling potatoes at the restaurant. It was such a powerful moment of empathy, compassion, and shows the power of connection through human touch. And it's that touch that reaches the heart. I just love that scene. What was it like directing it?
Actually, we did two versions. We have two alternative ending. And the original was that. I mean, the second one was that they're talking. They have a monologue of sharing their life story. But and then we did this version. But for me, in the end, it make more sense of two people with different cultural background but similar life situation, but to different languages. Just like a lot of time, we don't actually have to say too much just to be there. You can feel it like as a human being that we can understand without much world. And then it's for me, it was I guess emotional to do it, and at the same time, you just gotta understand each character's what, or just everyone what they carry on their shoulder. You're just trying to listen, this, and be there. It's part of the, I guess, original idea of the scenes.
Yeah, I think Benny, some of the best and most powerful short films are those that limit their dialogue and
Yeah,
allow the actors to act without saying anything, which I loved Zahn's performance in this film. Sometimes you allow the cinematographer to use the lens to tell part of that story. And of course, it also comes into whatever the music score, if the music score is placed in the scenes correctly to evoke emotion or heighten the meaning of what's going on. And that's what made your film just so powerful to watch because you didn't overdo anything in this film. You made it like it was supposed to be made, and people who watch this film hand from beginning to end, they're going to be moved. Hopefully, it'll lessen racism in America.
Thank you so much. It means a lot.
Well, tell me about that ending shot. I mean, it
Yeah,
was the look of hope, wasn't it?
it was look of hope and change of like a change of thought, like mindset. Like you understand the kindness and the love you actually have, even though it's not physical next to you. But when you, I guess, look hard enough, you can see and you can feel. Once you reach out, people will reach back to you.
So much so. And how long did it take you to film this
The
short?
whole, the whole thing. The actual production was, I would say, 5 days and a half. It was very rushed. We are tight on budget.
Doesn't seem too rushed. I think most short films are in 3 or 4. So was the attack scene? Did that take the longest?
Uh, Not exactly, because we rehearsed more. I would say the restaurant scene take much longer because the kitchen and the fire and knife and everything.
You know,
Yeah, that's
I was watching that scene where Lynn was, I guess he was taking a break, or maybe it was at the end of the day, and he was eating his meal, and then Anna comes in to fold the napkins for the restaurant, and I paused that shot when the camera is back, and you see a couple of tables, then you see Anna, and then you see Lynn in the back, and I kept looking at that shot and looking at the framing. And I'm staring at it and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is just the most perfect Scorsese move ever. Because I just loved the decor of the restaurant. It it played perfectly in the film. It was subtle and the colors were right. Were you looking for a particular look when it came to a Chinese restaurant?
uh yes, but we're trying to do more. I guess nothing too more like a old fashioned kind of interior design. Nothing too modern. Like we save some old fashioned Asian Chinese characters, but at the same time you can see there's American style in there. But funny story is that I actually don't know the owner. Like during COVID, the restaurant shut down, but I have to find food and stuff. And I went to this restaurant so many times. I become friends with the owner, and she's happened to be Taiwanese and Asian, and she decided to let us use the place. But yeah, we didn't actually do too much production design in this scenes. It was pretty much the way it is. We just do the lighting.
Well, I like the fact that the restaurant was very it was traditional yet established in its look. Like you said, it wasn't too modern, like modern day. It's like when Lynn said, he goes, I've been working here for like 15, 20 years. And the restaurant kind of backs that sentiment up. So I
Yeah.
just loved that natural look. And I
Mhm.
also loved your cinematography. So tell me about working with Miki Inoguchi.
Oh yes. We are buddies since film school. Uh, in 2019, so that's when we met. We went to the community college together in Santa Barbara, and then we shot. And then we want to bring the film back to Santa Barbara because that's where we started. We're both in LA now, but yeah, and then we've been friends. This is our second film together. We did one in film school, this one after film school. But yeah, we know each other for a long time. We're good friends and stuff. But we actually the shot you just mentioned, the restaurant, we fought about this shot because he wanted to do it, I guess, profilely, and I want to do that straight on. We just have like heated debate about it. Eventually, he kind of okay, fine. But
No, I liked the straight on shot because it was it's the back wall where it's
Hmm.
framed because you have the booths on the side and you have the tables in the center, and then the way that you had placed Anna and Lynn in the shot because you have Lynn first and then Anna comes into the shot.
Hmm.
And then when you do the close ups, they're not exactly side profile, which I like. It's more like a three-quarter view, which is the way it should be. So it was done perfectly. But yeah, I really, I remember that scene so well because I just loved your framing. And of course, the attack scene, which, it's going to move the audience no matter what. But then that scene outside with Anna and Lynn with literally almost no dialogue. I mean, that was the closer for me.
Yeah, thank you. We for the cinematography style, we're trying to do everything, I guess, more on the natural side, nothing too stylist. You know, besides the kitchens, like the kitchens are pretty much the blue and orange lights is how it, I guess, naturally is. But everything else, we're trying to do naturalistic as possible. For the audience to feel, um, they are there with them
Well,
throughout the
yeah,
whole
because
film.
when the film starts and you see the kitchen scenes, the first two things I noticed immediately was the cinematography, because I'd sit here and I'd go, "Wow." The second thing I noticed was the colorization. Did you have a particular color palette that you used for this film?
Yeah, we're trying to do more European style, like low contrast and little, yeah, like not much saturation, and just kind of it's just like the reflection of his mental state. Like he's nothing going on, and especially how the world is right now, we don't want nothing too colorful in this kind of setting. So yeah, like one of the reference we had was I, Daniel Black, the British film, but we didn't go as white, like the color wise, as that film is, but like some like European style, yeah.
Well, yeah, because when I look at the kitchen scene, my first thought was, this is that short film Oscar look. And and you know it when you see it. And when I saw it, I went, yeah. And and when a short film, when the story also includes outside shots, it's the outside shots that are so much harder to do because you're at the mercy of nature. You don't know if you're going to have a full blown sunny day, partly cloudy, or cloudy. Did you feel you got lucky with the lighting when you did your outside scenes?
Yeah, yeah, we got lucky. I mean, we did it September, so it was more cloudy. Like, we were originally gonna do it in May, but May was too sunny, and then we weren't ready with the script anyway, so we pushed it to September. Um, so we didn't. At the same time, LA is so hard to block the whole, blocks to get the whole interior. But I think it make, I guess, like it's good that we don't have much wide shot because in the end, his life is basically, stuck in this small frame, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, yeah. It's when we would film on location, I hated filming outside. I
Right.
mean, you're just like, oh, what ISO are we going to do, and is the sun going to stay out long enough, or is it going to turn cloudy? Does it change the shot? So I hate filming outside, but that's just me. Just put me inside, and I'm really, really good. Now, with this film hand, have you already shown it at other film festivals?
Cleveland will be the first one.
Cleveland will be the first one, and the 50th year of the Cleveland International Film Festival. What was it like being an official selection?
It was surreal. I mean, I've never been to Cleveland, and it's gonna be my first time, and I'm very honored to be part of it. They put me in the Film Slam program, which is the educational program, and then I have to. The film will be shown as with the scholar and students, and I'm excited to interact with them to see how younger generations see this kind of film.
So, have you? I'm sure you've done some test screenings of the film. What's been the reaction with maybe some of your colleagues?
Me and the producer and editor watch it like 80 times in the editing room, so we don't really feel too much anymore. But and we haven't done much test screening, but so far who those saw it like it, I assume I think. But yeah.
So, what would you like? So, at the Cleveland International Film Festival, when the audience sees Hand, what would you like for them to take away from it?
Mm, I will hope that they understand that even though everyone look differently and have different background, but we're still human being. Even this very very ideally, but understand that we are all human going through same life lessons and stuff, and we can maybe learn to fight our fear and misunderstanding towards other, and then take the first step, reach out and then make the world a better place.
I absolutely agree with that. And to me, this is that type of film, and I'm going to keep my eyeball on this film. It has a lot of power to it, and I'm expecting this film to go a long way. And ladies and gentlemen, Hand follows Lin, a middle-aged undocumented cook working in a small Chinese restaurant in California, as he struggles to navigate the realities of life in the United States. Now, caught between the demands of economic survival and a deepening sense of isolation, he begins to confront the personal cost of remaining invisible in a society where anti Asian hostility continues to rise beyond his workplace. Now, through this intimate portrait, the film explores the tensions of immigrant life and reveals how dignity, fear, and resilience coexist under constant pressure. It's hard to fathom that we are still living in a society where racism is strong as ever. America has always been the land of opportunity, but today's social climate is causing us to forget who we really are as people and as Americans. And Benny Chin's short film Hand is a very, very powerful reminder that we have not grown as a people, possibly regressed as one. We need more films like this one to remind us that empathy, kindness, and compassion can go a long way in making those who are coming in to the land of opportunity to feel welcome. And Benny, I want to thank you again for such a very powerful film and the honor to have you on the show. And much, much success to you this year, not only in Cleveland, but I hope to see this film at other film festivals for the rest of the year.
Thank you so much, Ron. It's my honor to speaking with you and share my story.
You're very welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are going to the Cleveland International Film Festival or any film festival in which Benny Chin's Hand is appearing or as an official selection, make sure you are sitting in the theater because this is a short film you do not want to miss. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, you can watch or listen to all of the Bond on Cinema interviews at bondoncinema.com. Check out our Prime show, our YouTube channel. Also, we're on Spotify, iTunes, and more. And remember, you'll either see me at the movies or from the red carpet.